Dozens of families get to return to their homes after an explosion in London forced hundreds to be evacuated.
It literally shook my house.
A fiery explosion caused by a suspected drunk driver crashing into a natural gas line damages 7 homes and sends 7 people to hospital. Plus,
we must be better in this area, and we will.
An independent report into bullying at St. Mike's College School says it remains an issue 9 months after a group of students were charged in a hazing incident. How the school is vowing to change. And revamping recycling. You'll likely still put the same stuff into your blue bin, but who pays to take it away is going to change. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. Some good news for several families in London tonight. More than 100 homes were evacuated after an explosion rocked an entire neighborhood last night. Tonight, all but a dozen homes are now clear for people to return. Those remaining homes were severely damaged after a suspected drunk driver struck a gas line and set off a fiery chain reaction of destruction. Chris Glover has our top story.
It was what happened before this fireball shot into the sky last night that woke people up in London, Ontario.
We felt that, we thought it was a bomb going off.
Initially, I thought perhaps a train exploded because the tracks aren't too far from here. Pictures came off of our walls, the books came off of our bookshelf.
Around 10:30 last night, a car collided into a home's gas meter. Roughly 15 minutes later, an explosion.
I felt my house shake and heard a loud noise, and I got the impression that there was a vehicle that hit my home.
Flames shooting 10 meters into the sky, landing on and damaging 7 homes. Exploding accelerants were reported for hours afterwards.
You could hear cans going off and stuff like that, so we just got everybody out of there, so we didn't want any more explosions going off.
The light of day shows a debris field a block away. Crews still battling flames into the morning.
At this point, we believe the fires are out, but anytime that you have a collapse or you have walls coming in on each other, there is a potential for fire to be trapped underneath.
The home at the epicenter is completely gone. Luckily, no one was there at the time. Even before the explosion, 2 fire trucks were already there trying to get the driver out of the car that had hit the home. 4 firefighters and 2 police officers were injured.
I find it amazing that literally there was no people that were actually hurt other than our first responders.
Only 1 firefighter remains in the hospital in serious but stable condition. Fire officials are now going to homes that don't look impacted to make sure they're safe.
We've got some family in the area that we're going to stay with if we can't get back in the home tonight, and we'll just kind of go from there. It's an inconvenience, but it's only property to us, and we'll be back in eventually.
Only 1 home gone and 7 others damaged, but a neighborhood changed forever. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
And that explosion in Brampton yesterday may have been caused by someone making moonshine. Peel police say the blast that sent 4 people to hospital, including a 1-year-old girl, was caused by an exploding alcohol still. Fire officials say equipment used to distill alcohol was found in the basement of a semi-detached home on Herdwick Street. There are still some people who haven't been able to return to their homes. Officers say a 57-year-old Brampton man was arrested and charged with arson by negligence. And Toronto police are urging people in a neighborhood southwest of Yonge and Shepherd to be cautious after 2 suspected arsons. Police released this security video of one of the incidents. Both of these happened between July 13th and the 20th. Police are asking the public to keep an eye out for any suspicious activity, particularly during late nights and early mornings. St. Michael's College School released an independent report looking at bullying today. It found it still remains a big issue 9 months after the all-boys private school was rocked by allegations of a brutal sexual assault. Last November, police charged 7 students in connection to alleged sexual assault incidents involving its junior football team. The independent report drew on surveys and in-person interviews with current and former students, along with staff. Since the incidents, it found no significant change in rates of student bullying. It made several recommendations ranging from rewriting codes of conduct and student handbooks to hiring more women as teachers and in leadership roles. Tonight, both alumni and parents of current students say they are glad the report is public.
I'm frankly quite impressed with their commitment to follow the truth of what their investigations have found, to report it publicly, and to say we want to have a culture change around the bullying issues.
I think it is the opportunity to change that culture, to have boys see where they don't have to operate that way.
The school administration intends to implement all recommendations in the report and make it public so that other schools can learn from the experience at St. Mike's. Well, just 19 days until kids go back to school, and this year teachers are likely going back without a contract. Elementary and secondary agreements are set to expire at the end of this month. Loretta Redekop has a look at what could be an upcoming battle between teachers and the provincial government.
This commitment today by the Secondary School Teachers Union.
Let me be absolutely unequivocal. We will be at work on the first day of school.
Harvey Bischoff spoke to his union leaders from across the province in a speech filled with anger towards the Ontario government.
Many times in the past, the barbarians have been at our gates and we have always driven them back. We have seen the likes of Doug Ford, but he has never seen the likes of OSSTF FASO.
But it's still early in the negotiations process.
We haven't yet got to a bargaining table and had a chance to exchange substantive items.
Elementary school teachers also met today.
Students, in fact, would be, and they will be there their first day of school and throughout the month of September.
Sam Hammond calls this the calm before the storm.
We have entered into negotiations in good faith with this government, and as I've said, the initial meetings that we've had have gone well. They've been respectful.
Since the Ford government took power, there's been widespread backlash by teachers after cuts to education, job losses at school boards across the province, and promises of major changes still to come, including mandatory e-learning courses set to begin next year for high school students. The education minister doesn't view the changes as cuts, saying the government has invested in education, and he worked to set himself apart from the unions.
And I've heard some unions talk about that they're readying for battle, whereas I'm really ready to focus on a resumption of class in September. We are working hard and expediting our negotiations to land that deal. I think we can do so in good faith, that one that could make students and educators and parents proud.
Both teachers' unions are also launching campaigns with TV ads expected soon as they attempt to win over the public during this dispute. Loretta Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
This is the first day of a new 11-week Toronto police initiative focused on reducing gun violence and targeting street gangs. Tonight, Police Chief Saunders attended a community meeting in Lawrence Heights, one of the neighborhoods getting some extra attention, to both explain the plan and address residents' concerns. Daniel Clark was there.
Chief Saunders spoke with reporters after a meeting with residents where cameras weren't allowed inside.
It's a step in the right direction, working together. As we have officers in the communities here on a regular basis, have those conversations, express those concerns.
Toronto police are implementing the new safety initiative after a rash of gun violence. More than 390 incidents this year, 8 shootings alone in Lawrence Heights. Toronto police say it will be one of the areas for increased policing. Some residents hope that's a part of the solution.
We need healing. Our community needs healing, and the only way we can heal is by with each other. Funding in police isn't going to do much. The streets are smarter than that.
Some feel the solution has to be more than just about guns.
You cannot talk about banning guns if you're not going to talk about banning poverty and all the issues that go along with it. It's like a puzzle with 10, 20 pieces. The gun piece is one puzzle, one piece of the puzzle.
Part of Project Community Space is increased police presence and visibility in neighborhoods where gun violence is occurring.
I just like the way they interact with us in the community, and they're friendly. You don't feel like when you go to them, don't feel like they're different. You just feel like they're part of us.
Why do you want to be a police officer?
Because I want to grow up to be a police officer.
He said he wants to become like a superhero because they're superheroes.
You think police are superheroes? In the fall, Toronto police will hold more than 30 gang prevention town halls. an effort to console, listen, and take action. Daniel Clark, CBC News, Toronto.
To Peel Region now, where police there are investigating a homicide after a man was found near a creek in Brampton this morning. Police say they've identified the man as 47-year-old Wayne Wojciechowski from Brampton. Officers found his body around 8 o'clock this morning near Steeles and West Drive. Investigators say there were signs he was beaten up, but there's no word about any possible suspects. And a worker died after a derailment at a CN rail yard in Vaughan overnight. York Regional Police say the accident happened sometime before 2 a.m. at the McMillan yard. A worker somehow got trapped underneath a rail car and died. The Labour Ministry and the Transportation Safety Board are investigating. And a bizarre turn of events in a notorious murder case. The family of a slain Toronto woman, Laura Babcock, is being forced to prove to the Ontario coroner that their daughter is, in fact, dead.
It just scrapes the scab off again. It's horrible. I just assumed that once there was a conviction that the coroner's office would be notified and, okay, so these people murdered her, so that person must be dead. But there isn't any communication between the two offices.
The 23-year-old's remains were never found, and the coroner's office has yet to issue a death certificate. Babcock was one of 3 people who died at the hands of Dylan Millard. Millard and Mark Smith were found guilty of first-degree murder in her death back in 2017. And police have linked 3 separate sexual assaults dating back to 2015 to one suspect, thanks to DNA evidence, and they're asking for the public's help to try to identify him.
This man is predatorial, and he's looking for young women walking on their own, full stop. I believe that there have been probably other victims who haven't reported for various reasons, but I encourage them to come forward. If they've had any contact with somebody that matches this description, I encourage them to give us a call.
The first incident happened back in July of 2015. Police say a 23-year-old woman was approached from behind by this man, dragged into a laneway, and sexually assaulted. A year and a half later, in January 2017, a 17-year-old in Collingwood was pulled into a vehicle by a man and sexually assaulted. Police released this sketch of the suspect today. Now, the most recent attack happened just last month on July 15th at around 10:30 p.m. A 28-year-old woman ordering a rideshare along Lakeshore between Newfoundland and Strawn. She was then driven to a parking lot in the area of Jane and Eglinton and sexually assaulted. Police believe the incidents are escalating in violence. They describe the suspect as between 25 and 35 years old with brown skin, approximately 5'5" to 5'9", with a short build and a short beard. It's believed he suffered an eye injury during his last attack and may have visible bruising or cuts. And police are releasing surveillance video in hopes of finding this man wanted for sexual assault. Police say a 34-year-old woman was walking in the Church and Maitland area around 1 a.m. yesterday. The man followed her into an apartment building, and once inside, they say he sexually assaulted her. The man is described as being in his late 20s to early 30s with a muscular build and short braids and slight facial hair. Jeff Arrington is here with his first look at the forecast. Temperature is going up from today, I hope.
Oh, yeah, they're going to shoot up over the next few days, Mike. First, let's talk about precipitation. What's on our radar? A mix of sun and cloud for the city starting off Friday morning. Maybe a few showers toward Leamington, Chatham, Kent. Then check this out. Before the dinner hour on Friday, rain around the city. We'll wait to see if that presses north to south. So we've got about a 40% chance of showers. And then about 24 hours from now, we'll just be dealing with cloud cover, a bit thicker cloud cover Friday night. Mike, here's what you were chatting about. The humidex values really shooting up. Saturday, 33, Sunday, 37, and back to work on Monday, it will feel closer to 40. First things first, nice night overnight, 16. A slight risk we may see a few more showers. I do think it will stay dry. And for your Friday, increasing cloud cover. And again, maybe some showers toward the late afternoon. We'll watch to see if that happens. Right now, about a 40% chance of showers. Mike, coming up, we'll get you your CNE forecast.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You got it.
It's clear the Blue Box program has become unsustainable.
Well, changes are coming to Ontario's Blue Box program, aimed at ending the need for taxpayers to support the recycling program. We'll tell you how the new plan will work after the break. Come September, if your daily commute relies on the GO train, you may have dozens of new options to choose from.
We are introducing nearly 150 new and extended weekly train trips across the GO network.
Now, some of the changes include 50 new weekly train trips on the Kitchener line, a new express train option to Bramalea, and a new westbound train for commuters traveling to Bloor, Weston, Etobicoke North, or Malton GO stations. Now, outside the GTA, Metrolinx is building on its seasonal service between Niagara Falls and Union Station, turning that into a year-round weekend service. The changes take effect at the end of the month. And Ontario's Blue Box program is getting an overhaul. The plan is to give manufacturers a greater say in what goes into the recycling boxes by making them pick up the entire cost of running the program. Greg Ross tells us how it'll work.
It's a concept that's been tossed around in Ontario for more than a decade. Today, Environment Minister Jeff Yurek put the wheels in motion to make it a reality.
By December 31st, 2025, producers will be fully responsible for providing Blue Box services province-wide.
Under the current system, municipalities cover 50% of the costs for recycling in the province, while the companies that produce the materials foot the bill for the other 50%. Moving forward, producers will be responsible for 100% of the costs for recycling their materials, which includes overseeing the Blue Box program.
It's clear the Blue Box program has become unsustainable. It costs municipalities and taxpayers millions of dollars a year, and those costs are expected to increase by approximately $10 million a year after 2019.
Yurek says ultimately he expects the new program to force companies to rethink their recycling policies.
By moving the total cost to the producer, they now have the ability to reduce their costs by changing how they package materials, and I think that's key.
While the idea is widely supported, NDP environment critic Ian Arthur said in a statement, "We have serious concerns about whether this government will do this right."
We'll see what the regulations actually say and if they're tough enough.
Emily Elford with the Toronto Environmental Alliance says the onus is on the government to mandate strict guidelines for producers.
The only way the system works is if we have good regulations, when producers are required to pick up all the packaging they put on the market and they have really high recycling targets to meet and real penalties.
Elford also questions why it's going to take so long to get the program up and running. The province won't have guidelines for producers until 2022, and the program won't be in full effect until 2025.
That means another 6 years of plastics entering the environment, ending up in our lakes, and just going to disposal.
The province says it needs time for consultation with the public, stakeholders, and Indigenous communities. The Environment Minister says when it comes to the way people recycle in their homes, that's not expected to change, other than having a much clearer list of what people can recycle and possibly
a longer list of what people can put in their blue box. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
There's a live look at the Toronto skyline. Rain earlier today. Will it go away? Your long-range forecast is next. If you play the lottery, you might want to check your winter coat pockets or under the sofa cushion for a ticket you might have forgotten to claim, because you could be a millionaire.
We want to give away that prize money. That it really is the customer's prize money. But from time to time, customers may misplace those tickets, may put them in a junk drawer or in a winter jacket.
There are currently 27 unclaimed Ontario lottery and gaming prizes out there. OLG says the winnings are worth nearly $4.5 million, and they are set to expire. The lottery retailer says it consistently pays out 99% of its prize money each year, but over the past year, roughly $24 million went unclaimed. It says players can still claim their prize even if they no longer have a winning ticket. OLG keeps a digital catalog of tickets sold. Jeff Harrington is back with his extended forecast. I got caught in the bit of the rain today because I didn't bring my umbrella. So I'll bring it tomorrow and then I won't need it, right?
For sure, Mike. This is really going to be the pattern for the next few days. So that is a good bet. Keep the umbrella handy. It's not going to be a washout, but we'll see some of these pop-up showers. And that rain risk is with us once again late afternoon on Friday. And really, Mike, that's a trend. An unsettled weekend. Can't rule out showers or thunderstorms. And we've got a plume of humidity that is set to swoop in, particularly toward the tail end of the weekend into Monday. So we should be around 26 for this time of the year. We made it up to 23 today, but these temperatures are going to shoot up in a big way over the next little bit. Across the province, Windsor, the hot spot, if you could call it that, 26, 23 for Barrie. But again, over the next few days, we're going to jump right back into summer. It almost felt a bit fall-like today with that rain and the cooler temperature. Friday morning, waking up to a mix of sun and cloud for the city, maybe some showers toward Chatham-Kent, Leamington area. And by Friday, late afternoon, just before the dinner hour, look at all this rain around the city. We'll wait to see if that presses north to south south. Right now, we've got about a 40% chance of some of those showers. That rain will shove out Friday evening, and about 24 hours from now, a little more. It's just going to be cloud cover. Now, to kickstart your weekend on Saturday, here's what we've got. Mainly overcast start to your Saturday, and then showers swoop in late morning on Saturday. Going to be with us through the afternoon. So yeah, grab that umbrella, good bet, because the showers don't pivot out until about Saturday evening. Here's those humidex values we were chatting about off earlier in the broadcast. 33 by Saturday, 37 on Sunday, feeling closer to 40 on Monday, and then they'll start to come down a bit. Southwestern Ontario, here's your lows tonight. Windsor, Leamington around 17, but again, toward the early hours on Friday, may see some showers. 30% chance for your afternoon as well. High of 27, feeling 32 for Windsor, and around the Golden Horseshoe, Toronto, a low of 16, and again, increasing cloud cover and that threat of showers as we get later into the afternoon. Here's a peek now at your 5-day forecast. Temperature is steady around 26, 28, Mike, but we really dial up that humidity by Sunday.
We didn't make the high today, but we'll make up for it on the weekend.
You got it.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Sure thing.
And the Toronto Zoo has celebrated many recent births, but today it's celebrating a milestone of its own. Coming up, more on the zoo's birthday, and of course, we're going to show you more cute pictures of animals. So stay with us. Well, a big anniversary for one of the city's most popular tourist attractions. The Toronto Zoo turns 45 today. Opened in 1974, it was the world's first zoo-geographical zoo. That means animals and vegetation are grouped the way they would be geographically in the wild. Until Toronto was amalgamated, of course, it was known as the Metro Toronto Zoo, and it remains the largest zoo in Canada. It spans 710 acres in the Rouge Valley. There was once even a monorail to take visitors to the harder-to-reach areas like the Canadian Pavilion. And these 3 special residents have called the zoo home since it opened. They are Charles and Josephine, Western lowland gorillas, and Pupe, a Sumatran orangutan. I didn't know there were still some original residents there. Well, that's our show for tonight. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. Good night.